You know, guys, Leagues 3 really has me thinking. But what else is new? Mod Oasis introduced this concept of having a skill-restricted system going on, and we got some clues as to how it's going to work. But my favorite part of the presentation was when Mod Oasis said this.
But try to think which skills would be the most useful at the start of a league. Whilst you're pondering that.
As you ponder that, all right, I see that challenge, and let's take it. By the way, welcome to the We Skill Now YouTube channel. I really enjoy making these videos, so thank you so much for clicking on this one. It makes me feel cool when the view number goes up. It also makes me feel cool when the like goes up, the comments go up, but I really want to hear your opinions. And don't worry, there will be definitely things to respond to in this video. Today we're talking about Leagues 3, specifically the skill restricted system that we're going to have this time. Apparently when we log in to Leagues 3 on a Leagues 3 world, we're going to have all of our skills locked off from us. We're not going to be able to use them except for 3 skills that we're going to automatically have unlocked. Jagex is going to choose them for us. I'm not saying that they're randomized per account. I'm saying that Jagex thought it was so important that they choose these 3 skills so that people wouldn't soft lock themselves and not be able to progress in the game. Those are our clues. Today I'd like to figure out which 3 skills Jagex is unlocking for us and which 3 skills we get to start this league off with. By the way, I'm not the only one who's thinking about this. I asked this question in a YouTube community post, and a lot of people came to the same consensus. Let me show you what you guys picked. People are saying, hey, we need magic for the home teleport skill. We need thieving so that we can produce money at all times. Then a whole bunch of people are saying hit points as well. So these are the 3 that I see most commonly said in multiple comments in yesterday's video that I talked about Leagues 3 in, and also in my community post. These are the 3 that it seems that everyone's going for. Now, I have some problems saying that these are so obvious. The reasoning that I saw that magic just had to be unlocked was so that we would have access to the home teleport spell. Now, honestly, I think that that's a pretty good idea, because one of the reasons that Jagex is unlocking these skills for us is so that we can't soft lock ourselves. Well, I don't know too many situations where you can actually soft lock yourself physically in a location in RuneScape, but if you're ever in a bind, you're able to home teleport away. The reason I have a problem with this is that I don't think it's incredibly necessary to give the home teleport spell to the player base. I don't think we need this. And then, if magic is our only combat stat, that's really intriguing to me, because magic is the one that consumes the most resources, so we're going to need to produce a bunch of money in order to get runes. Wait a minute, that's the solution. We've got thieving here. Thieving so that you can always produce more GP, no matter what, to produce more runes, to be able to cast magic. All right, fair enough. Honestly though, if they're giving us thieving so that we can produce GP infinitely, it might be a little tedious, collecting 3 GP at a time to get those initial runes, maybe. But then with those accelerated experience rates, you'll quickly move your way up to guards of warrior women or something like that. And you'll get GP a little bit faster, but I still imagine it would be quite tedious. But overall, not a bad idea, honestly. And then hit points, the reason that I see people saying hit points in my mind is because, well, if we're doing combat, if you lock hit points, then how do you even exist in the world? But I gotta say, let's take a step back. I don't think it's actually necessary for you to have HP unlocked for you to utilize HP. I would imagine you could still take damage just like normal if hit points were restricted. It would just stop you from gaining experience in it or something like that. That's how I would imagine restricting hit points would be like. One of the first thoughts that I had when I thought about which skills we would have automatically unlocked for us, it came down to agility for me. Then I had second thoughts about that as well. I remember Twisted League, we had to choose between infinite running and walking, and infinite running was so popular that in Trailblazer, everyone just got infinite running automatically. That's probably gonna be the case again. So If we think that agility is so important, it's really not in leagues, because you get infinite run energy no matter what. So I don't think that that would be necessary to unlock automatically for players. Now, I don't want to speak just negatively about the magic and thieving relationship. I actually think that it's pretty cool that just looking at the skills and considering them, players have linked these two up to have somewhat of a relationship. You know, thieving produces resources and magic consumes them. I actually think that's pretty clever and cool. So it could very well be that those are two of the skills that we're getting, and you know, maybe we'll get hit points as well. Now, I've heard some other players saying, well, if we're going to be fighting things or expected to fight things, we need to have a way to heal up, so we need cooking. I'm not sold on this idea either. What things are you going to cook if you don't have access to the fishing skill? You know, you kill some cows and like, oh, you can cook their meat, but like there are ways to feed you to get food without access to the cooking skill. I'm not convinced that cooking is extremely necessary to automatically unlock for this reason. I've heard players talk about having access to skills that are that have a relationship with each other. So we've talked about, you know, magic and thieving, as interesting as that relationship is, but I've also heard things like attack and mining and smithing, because if you're gonna unlock attack for a player, you gotta give them access to metal and things like that. I'm not sold on any of these ideas. I think it's okay to give access to the attack skill and just force the player to use their fist, or make them just buy a sword from the shop or something like that. I don't think that if you unlock attack, or you know, one of the melee combat stats, that you need to give them mining and smithing right away. In that exact same vein, they've got ranged, fletching, and wood cutting all together. I would be very amazed if we started Leagues 3 and Jagex just thought, okay, we've gotta unlock these 3 skills. For the sake of the player, they need fletching and woodcutting so that they can start with range. I'm not buying it. Now, I mean, as I think about ways to get soft locked, I think that if the player had access to one of the combat stats, there's no way that they could get soft locked, because they could always kill something, but it would be extremely tedious. You don't want to force the player to punch goblins to collect money over and over and over again, especially if there's huge crowds around who are all trying to do the same thing. What skill is there that has no bottleneck no matter how many players are around? Well, that actually is thieving. Thieving might turn out to be the hero of this league, one of the auto unlocks of this league. It's really interesting to me and pretty cool that just the way that thieving works is a reason that we're probably going to get thieving. You know, therefore, why don't we just make that combat stat magic? I think that if we start with these 2 skills, it's going to be a really nostalgic, or it's going to create this situation that's really interesting where we all start the leagues and we're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and everyone's just like casting Windstrike right out the gate. Isn't that going to be cool? Think about that. I always find the beginning of leagues to be the most fun because everyone's running around and kind of doing the same things as each other and bumping into each other and everything. And this time, you know, in Twisted League, we had everyone running to the plows, and that was a huge bottleneck. In Trailblazer, we had everyone running over to Drainer and stampeding over the roofs, just big crowds all over the place on the Drainer rooftops. That was awesome. This time, we're going to spawn somewhere, and I think that that's a topic for another video on this channel. If you want to hear more Leagues 3 topics discussed, even though we don't know anything that's going on, subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're going to be spawning somewhere, having access to runes somewhere, and then everyone's just going to be filling the air with wind strikes. I'm imagining that exact scenario, and I think that that's going to happen. And, you know, they said 3 skills that would make sure that the player would never get soft locked. I mean, for me, I guess I would just toss it on over to hit points because I don't see any other skill that would make sure that they weren't soft locked. One thing that I think would be helpful in this discussion would be to go to the video evidence. Here's a screenshot that I collected from the video. It's really blurry because it was really tiny and they never happened to zoom in on this. But we automatically have defense, magic, construction, crafting, and then pretty much the whole right column already locked off. And there was a thought in my mind that would say, what if we had to have this discussion again, but those things that just happened to be locked off already were things that were definitely going to be locked. So now check this out. Magic is one of those locked skills. The theory is that now we would choose 3 skills that are among the skills that are currently available. I've heard people talk about okay, so now, I mean, thieving is still available to us. A melee stat is still available to us. I wouldn't go for ranged here, even though fletching is available. Woodcutting isn't. I've heard some people talk about, how about we do herb lore? How about we do prayer? I don't really see those actually offering anything in terms of making sure things aren't locked to the player, because prayer becomes immensely useful for helping players get through things, to get the player through a whole bunch of challenges that like they otherwise shouldn't be able to get to. If you really think about it, the design of Protect from Melee and those protection prayers are so broken, but that's a different topic. But at this low level, I don't see prayer like really making sure a player doesn't get soft lock. So I think the option here would just to throw it on HP. I don't know. And I'm wondering if they would just happen to put HP in there because if the player trained any combat skills, they weren't interested in having players get a high combat level and then maintaining their 10 HP. So that's pretty much my thoughts on that situation, but make sure you tell me yours in the comments below in this video. Which 3 are definitely going to be the ones that are automatically unlocked right away? Now I've got another game to play here because I made this whole Photoshop file and I want to use it for I want to use it for a little bit more than just that. All right, let's say that we do start off with magic, with thieving and HP. You run around, you click like 4 things, you do a whole bunch of tasks, and suddenly you have enough points to unlock a 4th skill. Which skill are you unlocking? Think about it for a second. In my mind, it's pretty much skills that I'm kind of just interested in, skills that would help me get more quests done, like which skills are important for quests, and those start getting spread out real soon because, like, you know, if you want to do RFD, you need like all kinds of skills, possibly even every single skill in the game. But I don't know, I guess you'd want to consider like if you would want to get into, you know, combat more quickly. If you had a choice between attack and strength, I think you should take strength at first. I think that's actually an interesting question to answer. Which one is more important? I think it's strength at level 1 combat stats. And then let's say that you get another one. I don't know, are some people gonna go with prayer right away? Some people oh, you know what? We do have the wilderness unlocked immediately. It wouldn't be too bad to unlock prayer early and then head out to the wilderness. I'm sure a lot of people are just gonna go for like Slayer like really quickly, and then once you like, if you're providing yourself food, I don't think that a lot of Iron Men are gonna like provide food for themselves with the fishing and cooking method. It might come from elsewhere. So yeah, I think that this is a really interesting topic to think about. I think one of the most important things that you should consider is, what's my quest path? What are the most important quests I need to take care of? And that's really going to determine a lot about the skills that you take and what skills should you unlock to progress in the game as fast as possible. Please, in the comments, give me your plan. Maybe think about the first like 10 skills that you unlock in order and give a little bit of reasoning about that too. I'd be really interested to hear what you'd say. All right, guys, that's all that's on my mind for now for leagues. I mean, actually there's more, but I want to separate them out into different video topics. You understand. A lot of you know already, but not everyone. But I'm WeSkill now. This is my YouTube channel, and I really like to talk about leagues a lot on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that and you're interested in taking the journey with me, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to talk to me, basically in person, watch me on Twitch too, and I'll see you there. Have a great day. We'll see you later.